got yelled at when we had wine on Jeff's show. I was drinking wine and because it was Scotty Roberts' birthday. And yeah, so people were like hating. It was funny.
A drink in honor of somebody's birthday. That's nice.
Well, it wasn't really funny, actually. It was kind of making me mad.
We're live, just so you know.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody is enjoying your holiday weekend with your friends and family. I'm full. I just got done shoveling some pecan pie leftovers into my face hole. And I have my sangria that I made by myself.
Yeah. All right. So welcome to channel 27. Who doesn't know us? I'm Heidi Vandenberg. This is Jenny Moonstone. And we are going to discuss current events today. So Jenny, why don't you get us started?
Sure. So there has been, if you're paying any attention, over in Saudi Arabia, there has been something of a huge power shift taking place. And I like to think of it as a kind of operational coup taking place that's running parallel to what we're seeing here in our own country within the US government. Whereas it's very much Donald Trump and his supporters, and I don't mean the people that support him, but his team. It's them versus the deep state. Now, the House of Saud has been an incredibly corrupt organization for not since forever, but in recent years. The corruption has just gotten deeper and deeper. And Mohammed bin Salam, I believe that's his name. I hope I said it right. He is the new guy in charge. And he arrested hundreds of people a couple weeks ago, including members of the royal family, detained them. And in this just unprecedented power move is pissing people off from just all over the map. This guy is doing things that, nobody has ever done before. And what's very interesting to me is that if you look at some of the closest affiliates with the Clinton Foundation and the Clintons in general, the House of Saud and the Clintons have been very close for a long time. So if we look at what's going on in the United States and the desecration of the Clinton name, the continued exposure of the scandals within and the corruption within the DNC and the Clinton Foundation itself, it's almost as if their affiliates in the House of Saud, or those that are loyal, they're loyal to each other, those lines seem to be dissolving. They're breaking. And so their veil of protection is also going away. And so what it feels like is happening here is that this man was given the green light to exercise this power and to detain some of these corrupt individuals. I mean, we're talking upwards of $800 billion in financial assets that he seized from these people. That's unheard of. These people are untouchable. Billionaire businessmen, moguls, people that you won't even hear or see about on Forbes because they're not really required to disclose how much money they make. American CEOs and other international business people, they're kind of required to disclose how much money they have. Saudi Arabia is entirely different. There's no transparency within that structure. They don't have to tell anybody how much money they made. We can't even imagine how much wealth these people have. And, just all kinds of transitions of power and big things are changing. And if you look at who supports this guy, wow, the light just got really weird in here. There are people that are very, they want an end to corruption. They want truth. It's entirely too sunny in here. It's so crazy right now.
I know, I just shut my blinds because it's too
no, because it's been cloudy for like 4 hours and I'm like, oh, it'll be nice. I'll have the window open. And now it's like, whatever. So anyways, I want to know your thoughts on how you think, on what you see happening, and maybe if astrologically speaking, there are things happening to support a huge shift in power in a country like that.
Yeah. So I have his chart, and I wonder if Trisha answered on the time, but Jeff, we did the rods for the time. I just ordered rods, everybody, today.
Yay.
You know what I'm going to use them for?
What?
To confirm times when we do stuff like this.
That's fantastic. Really, it is.
I found out that I thought I was born at 138, says my birth certificate, but I've always thought it was 133. And Trisha's rod said 133, and so did Jeff's.
Okay. Did you try like 137 just to?
Yeah, I made Trisha do a lot of, because she was testing her rods out. And I made her go through every minute. Yeah.
That's so, I feel like I would get carried away with that. Once it's like floodgates. Once then you start asking all kinds of ridiculous. Did Billy Davis from 4th grade have a crush on me or something? I would just go back into, I don't know a Billy Davis, by the way, I never did, but I'm just saying, I feel like I would abuse that kind of divination. I cut myself off when it comes to tarot. I don't, I'll pull a couple spreads, especially if it's in a highly emotionally charged situation. I might avoid it altogether because it's just,
Yeah. Well, when I read my own tarot cards, I just pull cards till I like the ones I see. So, that's, I can't read cards of myself. That's why I have to go. But you know what? I learned.
That's a thing, by the way. Like, that's like tarot humor. Like in tarot communities, it's like you just phrase the question differently all those different times to see if you get a different result. And it's like, stop playing.
But I will say the tarot has really been helping me with my readings. Like after I give her the reading at the end, I pull cards to look at the transits, then it's really been definitely confirming things. So whatever I'm doing with them, it seems to be working. I mean, it's my own way. There's no structure here.
However, I think that you need to find a way to organize and articulate your process into something that only you do, because it is your way of reading it, and try to find a way to explain it so that other people can learn also, because you're always very accurate, and nobody reads exactly the same. Nobody interprets things exactly the same. It's, for tarot and astrology. So that's what I think you should do.
So if we think if he likes Trump, I'm just going to go with he's a Leo like Donald Trump, and he has Mars and Sun conjunct in Leo.
Wow.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to share my screen so everybody can see what I'm looking at.
I'm on the live chat now, folks, just so you know. I wasn't a few minutes ago, but
you're giving a warning.
Yeah, that's a warning. So watch what you say, unless you want to get called out.
First of all, I'm just going to say, in case you're watching Mr. Saudi Man, I think you are one of the most beautiful men I've ever seen, and I'd be more than happy to move to Saudi Arabia with you
and start a courtship, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I knew as soon as I started researching this story, I took one look at this man, and while he's certainly not my type, I knew right away that Heidi would find him very attractive. And let's be honest, even upon first glance at this man, now this is entirely my opinion. It's also my intuitive interpretation. He feels different in a lot of ways from a lot of the other Saudi leaders that we're familiar with. I mean, not that I'm familiar with all that many of them, but over the years, we look at who is who the figureheads are and who the leaders are of the Arab world, of the Muslim world. And for the most part, especially within the House of Saud, you look at these people and you think they're totally money driven. There's corruption there, you can tell. But if you look at what this man has done here recently, and also his stance, his moral stance, he really does seem very different from the others that have come before him, and also those that rival him. He's the youngest ever to be in this position of power at 32 years old. And he's also the most moderate of the leaders that we've seen. He very recently lifted a ban on women driving. He thinks women should be able to drive. I mean, and he has said himself in his own words that the enemy of progress is extremism and fundamentalism. So he is absolutely against, the idea of oppression and the extremism that we've seen from coming out of the Middle East. He wants to make things a lot more moderate. He wants to make things a little bit more westernized in a way where people can maybe start to feel safe and women can experience some equality. But he's being painted by the liberal media currently as being some kind of a belligerent usurper with absolutely no purpose other than to derive power, that he just wants power. And maybe he does. But if you're a smart leader, you want power so that you can maneuver your ship in the direction of progress. And when I say progress, I don't mean the liberals' idea of progress. I mean moving forward, more equality, free enterprise, just freedom. You know what I mean? So tell us about him, Heidi.
Okay, so let's just say right now, Jesus, when is this all this happen? Okay, so this right here, let me just open up Donald Trump's chart too, because you said he likes Trump. I know nothing about this guy whatsoever, so I just... You see, Leo ascendant, Mars in MAGA. That's
action, fire, action, stirring things up.
Yeah. So I will say I have a concern, okay? Because then I'll tell you why. And this is how this Vedic astrology goes. He also has Venus in the 12th and Mercury in the 12th, which this would make like that Mercury, Venus in the Cancer, his hidden enemies, which is the same as Donald Trump has Venus in the 12th. So that would be like the Mercury in Aslacia. Aslacia tends to be that nakshatra that the Clintons and everybody's in. I'll show her chart too. Okay, so see how she's got planets in Aslacia? You see this? This is in Saturn.
Mohammed bin Salam, Prince Mohammed bin Salam, just because a lot of people don't know who we're talking about. So we're talking about the prince right now who's having everybody arrested, just so you guys know. You can search his name.
So, he's got a couple things are concerning a little bit to me. So, he does have Saturn in K2. Does he have any siblings? Do you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I honestly don't know how many, what their names are, but, yeah.
I bet he has issues. I bet he has issues.
Hundreds of cousins, hundreds of relatives. I mean, the House of Saud is, I think we're looking at 15,000 people, but only 2,000 of which hold actual political sway.
Yeah. Trisha, how are you? Hey, can you ask the Rods real quick if he was born at 5:18 a.m.? Because right here, this would make his Mars at 0 degrees, which that is probably the most powerful, and it's in MAGA, which would make total sense. Can you ask, please? Okay, so, he's definitely got a chart like Trump, but his moon being in Aquarius in this Purva Bhadra Padra nakshatra makes me nervous. Okay. Because that is the nakshatra that a lot of the people that come from the dark side have their moon in.
Right.
So, is it 100%? He's definitely has good traits. If this is his ascendant, we don't know his ascendant. If say he was an Aquarius ascendant or a Cancer ascendant and had his moon in this, no, he's part of the opposite. He's acting. That's what I would say. So this would be something we would really need to know his time to say. He's got a little bit of both in his chart. He's got some of the conjunctions and some of the nakshatras like, Hillary has and that Hillary has and that people have. I'm just laughing because of the Rods, what I told you earlier, when we asked the Rods.
Oh, God. Can you please tell everyone?
Yeah. So we did some serious investigation with the Rods, with Trisha, and then I did some with Jeff. And the Rods said that, real quick, when did this guy come into power?
June of this year. Right after his cousin was projected to take the position, his cousin was removed officially. And so by royal decree, Salam was given the position. And so it really does kind of indicate that things changed quite last minute. And call me crazy, but I see parallels here between what's going on in the United States about the deep state versus everybody else with common sense and what's going on over there.
Okay, now this could be another thing. This could be his ascendant as a Virgo. Jupiter, he came into power when he had Jupiter in his first house. And the nakshatra of Chitra. Chitra is the bright one of the most luckiest nakshatras. So that would make him his Mars and Sun in the 12th, which is leadership, government status. But this, what's funny? This would also be why he likes Trump, because the 12th house is foreign lands, foreign countries. So if it was, since he's in a foreign country, foreign land, it would make sense. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So Trisha, and ask too. Let's ask it if 9:18, if he was born at 9:18 a.m. So we'd have to really find that time. Maybe that's another show we do. For me to sit here and to say what he is, let's just say it can go either way. But I'm not saying that everybody that has a moon in Purva Bhattapajra is bad, because it's not the case. So he might have all good intentions. Like, he might really be a good guy.
Could it mean, just intuitively speaking, could it mean that he has a strong concept of evil? Like he understands it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he knows what it is. It's almost as if he's had to touch. I'm not saying him in particular, you guys, because we don't know this guy. All right. We're saying we're using the astrology and we're trying to break it down into the possible traits that it would exude. And it's like, I can see it as somebody perhaps really touching this darkness at maybe a young age, or maybe when he was a teenager, came into a deep knowing and understanding. Perhaps he even had to see something horrible or be initiated in some horrible way where he's kind of energetically stained in some way. That kind of darkness is there. And it's karmically there. I mean, my moon is in Ardra, and that should be problematic, and it can be problematic, but that doesn't make me evil. No. You know what I mean?
No, but a moon in Purva Bhattapajra does. Okay, it can make sense.
Really?
Oh, yeah, totally. That's the Aquarius, the one that puts the spells on people, the one that does the rituals. So whatever rituals they decide to do. But here's the thing. This is how I'm looking at it. His Mars is in the loyal. His Mars is in like the loyal, the dignified part of Leo, no matter what, with the sun. So I've noticed when people have their, when their Mars is with, in the Cancer, in Nislasha, or in a nakshatra like that, that's kind of when it can turn south. So he probably has the right, correct morals. He's got that good that's going for him. And so hopefully.
Well, apparently his actions have kicked off some pretty horrendous fighting in Yemen. Okay. Is that the Emperor or the Empress?
And that isn't that the Virgo card anyway?
The Empress, I don't think is Virgo. No. If you look at your card, it should have the symbol.
I thought the Empress was a Virgo. I think I always say that.
It might be. She might be. But in any case, the Empress is the equivalent of the Emperor. And I believe that this man, I think we're looking at somebody who is so young. I mean, he's 32. He has an understanding that the way of the old ways are not working anymore. They're dated. We can't mutilate our women. We can't stone them in the streets to death. You know what I mean? It's time that things are balanced out. There was something else I wanted to mention. Oh yeah. There were attacks today in Sinai, the city of Sinai in Egypt. Something like over 230 people were killed by what they're saying was a very organized, well thought out, well planned out attack on worshipers in a Sufi mosque. Now, here's the thing about Sufism is that it is the mystical.
Yeah, I've dated a mystic Sufi.
Really? So oh my gosh, see, because the Sufis are the mystics of Islam, whereas the Sunnis and the Shiites, they, the Islamic State, it's more about the laws. It's more about the restrictions, the dogma, and the rules, whereas Sufism is the mystical aspect, where it's more about internalization and meditation and your personal relationship with God. So to slaughter these people in the wake of this power shift that's taking place in a near country, Saudi Arabia and Egypt are very close. One has to ask themselves what kind of a move this was. This was the most deadly attack in decades. And I listened to President al-Sisi's speech on the attacks just today. He spoke to his people, and you're not even going to believe what he said. He said that he felt that what happened, the terrorist attack, he felt that his country was enduring this on behalf of the world because they are taking moves to change things. He said, look at what happened here today. And we're enduring terrorism on behalf of the region and on behalf of the world, because we're making moves to change this institution and to really fight terrorism. And this is how they act. And so I took that as, he's admitting that, ISIL or ISIS or, the Islamic State, whoever is carrying out these attacks in Egypt, I said Israel, but I meant Egypt, that they're doing this out of retaliation of what's happening right now. Their power system is being just shaken to the core.
Well, what's really weird is last night I did a 4-hour show with Jeff and Scotty Roberts on Jeff's channel. And it started out talking about the Charles Manson chart. Mm-hmm. And we ended up we just had a general conversation about all kinds of things. And somehow Egypt came up because Scotty was there for a while. And we were talking a lot about Egypt. And another weird thing is when I went to the store to get new tarot cards, I picked up I guess it's the statue of, it's an Egyptian symbolism. And I bought all this stuff. So I brought it up and we were talking about Egypt last night, and then woke up today and boom, that happened.
Huh.
We talked about Egypt for a while too. I mean, do you know what time that happened?
I believe it was in the morning.
Yeah. Well, we were up late. So for their morning would have maybe even been
the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. And we were on target last night with certain things. It was crazy. So we were pulling tarot cards, and actually Scotty's making a tarot deck. Jeff's making an oracle deck. So it was pretty interesting. And, it is amazing how the synchronicities, I mean, this never fails. And I'm going to say, astrologically speaking, we're going to have way more of these, and I don't want to scare people, but the point is right now, Saturn is in Sagittarius. So, and it's in Sagittarius at the beginning, not the end. This is per Vedic Western or Vedic sidereal zodiac. And what that's going to show is that it's all about religion. Religion is Sagittarius. It's more about beliefs, and not always religion, it's beliefs, but some people's beliefs are fanatical, just like some people's, and Rahu is in Cancer. Okay. And I've noticed the people that have the planets in Cancer the most, not Aslesha, but the Purnavasu and that have the nakshatras of those ones, that's like the priests, the preachers. I mean, people that are very religious, and Rahu just went into that.
Right.
So that's kind of being Rahu is explosions, the rebel, all that stuff. So it makes total sense. And this has just begun.
I agree. I think we're going to see an increase in attacks on all religious empirical structures, all the way from, Roman Catholicism and the Vatican, to Islam. And then also, I think the truth about Christianity and the Bible, all that stuff is going to come out, and the truth is going to be separated from all of the lies. And I think that's the people that have been on the forefront of it within their own circles, like the cardinals and the bishops and all of these people that have assigned themselves all of this power from God, are going to finally be held accountable for what they've perpetuated. It's a lie. It's absolutely a lie. You can put yourself in a position of authority and say that God gave it to you. But at the end of the day, you put yourself there. So, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm personally very excited to see the structures taken down, but certainly not in a violent way. And the attack on the Sufi mosque, it was perpetuated by a violent sect of Islam that perpetuates Sharia law. And Sufism is the enemy of that, because Sufism is about peace, and Sufism is about internalization and meditation and your personal relationship with God. And the violent sects of Islam have a huge problem with that, because they're inherently evil. I'm sorry. But, and I'm not saying that Islam is evil, but you're not going to tell me that the Islamic State, which wants everybody under Sharia law, which would require that a woman be killed for any number of things, I think that that's evil. And you're going to have a hard time convincing any sensible person that it's not wrong. I mean, could you imagine, Heidi? You can't, no more doing your makeup, no more driving a car, and,
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. We don't know any better. So to say just like some of the Christians, don't know any better, that's why people get so crazy about these beliefs and stuff, because they're brought into it. That's the point. When you're brought into something and don't know any better, just like as a Christian being brought up, you think you're going to die, go to hell if you're not a Christian. So what do? You go preach the word, you go do all this stuff to find out that it's maybe not 100% accurate can be very disheartening to certain people, but that's where you have to just know that, it's not, I mean, there's like 700 religions that in India within those countries anyway. I mean, there's way more than just, Muslim, Hindu, and mystic Sufi. That's the most amazing part.
Right.
So there's Sikh, there's, and they all have their own little things, but the point is, it's whatever people need religion, I think, or else they'll be lost.
Would you convert
to what?
To anything if the man that you loved asked you to?
Yeah. I mean, if it was like, if I needed to for the fam, sure. Why not?
For the fam, sure.
But I still call it Heidiism. Like deep down behind the scenes, like I would say, if I had to marry a Jewish guy and become Jewish, sure, why not? If I had to become Muslim, sure, why not? But like, am I going to feel like 100%, but I would never become a Catholic. I don't know. That's really horrible, but I wouldn't. Like there's something logistically wrong with it that makes me morally wrong, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean,
sorry to all you Catholics in the house right now, but that's just how I feel.
Right. It's a personal opinion.
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean, there's so much, like, we didn't even begin to scratch the surface with that, but in any case, I think that what we're seeing transpiring over there is further validation that enormous shifts in power are taking place all over the map. I wanted to know how President al-Sisi of Egypt viewed Donald Trump, because based on his statement that he made today, I feel that he is absolutely aware of what's going on. His people love him. The people of Egypt love him. By the way, the people of Saudi Arabia love al-Salam too. They love the new guy. They love him. They love that he's dramatic and brash and he's doing these things, and it's shock and awe, but people love it. They're reveling in the reform of everything. And I wanted to know how these men view Donald Trump, because if they take this aggressive stance against him, then that would kind of debunk my theory. But in any case, both men are in support of Trump over Hillary Clinton. President al-Sisi himself said, he was asked in an interview, what was it like? Because he met with both candidates a while ago before the election. He said he met with Hillary Clinton and he met with Donald Trump. He was asked the same question about both of them. Do you think he would make a good leader? Do you think she would make a good leader? And he was quite instantaneous in his response. for Donald Trump. He said, absolutely, he'd be a strong leader. He's great. I like the guy a lot. And the same question was asked about Hillary, and he was pretty lackluster. And he said, well, you don't get to that point without technically being qualified for the job. So is she qualified technically to do it? I guess so. Like, he was just like not having it at all. And then post-election, he's since then met with President Trump, and the two of them seem to see eye to eye. So that supports my theory that the kind of coup that we're seeing right now, it's actually more of a counter coup, because I think that the deep state, along with Hillary and Soros, we're trying to overthrow Trump's administration. But what we're seeing is a counter coup, and everything is kind of, it's just good guys versus bad guys right now. But, I think that we're edging them out. And if you look at what's happening, I mean, it's to detain people that are that wealthy and that prestigious. I mean, that's unheard of. That's like shockwaves through the ethers. It's amazing. It can't be.
That's showing kind of what that Leo energy is doing right now, because that Leo with that Mars is exactly what Donald Trump's doing. It's
right.
Rahu in there is allowing, like, almost giving that expansion, now, but now here's the thing. Now it's in Cancer. So, somebody in this chat who I know who it is, he asked me, what does that mean when you have a lot of planets in Cancer? Well, you're going to getting affected. I mean, you are 100%. So depending on where that sits in your chart, I know what we're talking about with him, his chart, that's his 7th house. So that means that it could bring in a relationship. Doesn't always mean it's going to bring in something that, is destructive like that. So, but the only person we know for a fact is Donald Trump's chart. He's the only birth certificate that I know that is as close as we're going to get to anybody. So all I can say is there is a correlation to see that they have the same morals, the same Martian, that their Mars is in the right spot. Mars does wonderful. It's exalted in Leo. And Maga is ruled by Ketu. Ketu does good in Mars. I've got Ketu and Mars in my 1st house in Scorpio. So it does well in that. And that's why they are all about, like, they're all about military though. I mean, they are about military and stuff.
That's what we need though, because our enemies are also highly funded. They are all about the military also. So it only makes sense from a tactical perspective to be proficient and to put a lot of time and money and energy into your artillery, into your fleet, into your defenses. It only makes sense. I mean, listen, you guys, this isn't Kumbaya freaking ya. I mean, world peace is an uphill battle. It's going to take a long time to unfuck what's been fucked. You know what I mean? Pardon my language, but it's true. And we will never, I don't believe, as long as we are all here subjected to carbon-based reality and the 3D concept of time and, Saturn and all that crap, we might never see utopia, you guys. World peace is a pipe dream that they want us to believe is attainable through, peace, love, and smoking too much weed and having sex with everybody. It doesn't work like that.
That's a great example of what happened when they did try that. The Charles Manson slaughters popped up. And that's, looking at the Charles Manson chart and everything, everybody's talking about that. And I was talking about that. And it is interesting to look at his chart, because he was, like, I do believe he's part of them. Like, he was part of their whole entourage.
Absolutely.
But he knew what he was getting himself into. So I feel like he was a bad guy, obviously, but I said on Jeff's show last night, what about the Vegas massacre that just happened? That was a lot worse than just the couple random people in Hollywood. No offense, Hollywood folks, but who knows? We don't even, all those people might still be alive, for God's sakes. We don't know.
Right. Well, sure. And we know that any of these individual figures, Charles Manson, who else, the Strangler, Jeffrey Dahmer, Eileen Wuornos, I'm just trying to think of these famous killers.
Wait, who was the one monster? Who was that? Who was the monster? I want to do her chart, actually.
That's Eileen Wuornos.
Yeah.
She was the heavily abused woman. She was a girl. She became a woman. She murdered people. And as twisted as everybody, I mean, the whole story is just so screwed up. But the woman was violently, viciously abused for many, many years. And I've seen her talk. And you know what? My point to all of this is that I think that these people that commit these crimes and are guilty of these things that they've done, killing people, they become cult leaders, they control people, but they've only killed maybe at most 20 people, which of course is too many. Okay, one person's too many. It's too many people. I'm not saying, but why aren't we, why so much about these people? And I believe it's because these people were on some level through some agency, whether it was an intelligence agency or a black ops agency, funded from who knows where and when. I think these people can be considered MKs. Okay, I'm just going to spit it out. But I think that Charles Manson was most likely trained, programmed by the CIA. Eileen Wuornos, same thing. I mean, she was a product of generation.
In her chart, I'm curious because you think she was trained by the CIA?
No, no, not directly. Okay, but Manson, a few others, I think that they managed somehow to get a hold of these people, influence these people, guide these people. I mean, to how exactly, I don't know, but I can't assume to be privy to all of their technology or their tactics. Okay, that's a long-winded conversation that we can get into. But what's happening?
I just looked at her chart. I have her chart up, and
disaster.
She's okay. So Mars and K2 conjunct, they say that's the killer, but I know it's not because I have that in my first house. So I would have already done that. Rahu, Saturn, and Scorpio she has. That can be. Because see, everybody has to understand what Rahu does. It expands and it blows things up and it makes things, just vicious, and it causes chaos. It's your hidden obsessions. So when you have Rahu in Scorpio, it's a little different. It's like obsessions with kind of the dark side. With K2 there, it's kind of like, we just want to know shit. We just want to know things to protect us, to keep us out of trouble. Because it's more of a moksha thing. Rahu's more like, let's see what we can chaotically screw up right now. She also has Mars in Mula. She also has Venus in Revati. I've noticed people that have planets in Revati and have planets in Pisces are ones that have had the sexual abuse the most, because Pisces tends to be the most, but her K2 is in Rohini, which is, K2 doesn't like to be in Rohini. So, but this is funny. Like, I would love to find her time. Oh, I would love to find her time.
No, that's a very interesting story. The whole thing. I've watched several documentaries on her. I watched the film.
I love that movie. That's one of the only, I've watched the movie like 6 times.
Yeah. I mean, I was moved by her story because, I mean, she lived out in the freezing cold woods by herself because she really had no place to go. Everyone shunned her because she was strange. And I mean, the things that she endured, the abuse that she endured, that's how you create an animal. That's how you create a monster. And listen, I know that, people kill other people and you don't need a government agency or any kind of programming to help that. If that's, killers have always been around. However, we need to take a closer look at why some of these killers are given lifetime movies and, their names are just pasted across the media for many, many years to come. It's not just about money, and it's not just about the fact that people collectively, the psychology of the collective, people are pretty fixated on the macabre. People love murder stories. People are very interested in it. ID Network, it's great. You know what I mean? People love to get into the mind of a killer. However, if we look at people like Eileen Wuornos and we listen to the things that she has said, in interviews. She was very, she was psychic. I mean, some of these people they know things. Charles Manson knew what was going on. I mean, I wonder how these people are privy to this to this knowledge that nothing is what it seems, and they speak very cryptically. And I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them I feel were subject to a level of abuse so that they may become these people that we'll speak about and talk about, and the collective psyche will be kind of fixated on for many, many years to come. And I think that the CIA, the deep state, the 18 intelligence agencies, and many more that we don't even know about, please don't make the mistake of thinking that we understand their technology and all of their strategy and tactics, because we don't. But they control absolutely every facet of the fabric of society. So why wouldn't they want certain people elevated to stardom, superstardom? And then we look at so many of their stories are the same. There's trauma, childhood trauma. There's a systematic, in some ways, there's even affiliations, bloodline associations. Like Jack the Ripper was a member of the royal family. He was an inside guy. And Jack the Ripper is one of the most famous serial killers we've ever known. And he was an inside guy. So I think a lot of these people are inside people. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's definitely possible. But then we also have to look at it from a logical perspective. This is me being a little bit balanced. That we can't think everybody is MK Ultra and bad. I mean, because I think that.
Well, I don't think everybody that's MK Ultra is bad.
But now I think everybody that is MK Ultra. Like now I'm on that.
Everybody on this entire country has been MK'd. This entire effing country. Listen, Heidi, if you've seen a Disney movie, you have been subjected to some level of mind control. Everybody is subjected to mind control. All you need to know in order to sidestep it is to know about it. So are you currently under the influence of MK Ultra? No. But everybody has been subjected to some level of mind control. Is it
sunny in there?
No, I'm like, it's actually fine. It finally moved. But Lord mercy.
Oh God. Yeah. No, I do think, because now I'm at that point where it's starting to really be stressful, because everybody I see on TV and when I'm trying to watch them, then I'm like, they're part of the clan, and then you have to think, like, is everybody bad? Like, is everybody bad? So that means we are in a play, period. That's what it's got to be. I mean, so you either accept it and move along and just do the best you could do in your own life. That's how I look at it, because we all either are in a play or there's just a lot of, we're down the rabbit hole of thinking that. So it's, for me, I have to think.
I think that things have changed very recently. And so a lot of what was before, like Truman Show level, forethought and planning, where it's like literally everything is controlled, from the sky that you see to your nighttime programming to the daily headline, that all of it's controlled opposition. I think it has been that way, but I think that that's now finally changing, and it's more real time. And that's because human beings are waking up and they're able to channel their own oversoul, and not some construct that's sitting just outside of our perception that has all of our programming manufactured for us. We're finally being allowed to channel divine source energy for ourselves and do with it what we choose, and I'm not sure exactly what has changed. We can get into that in the future, but I think ultimately what was once supremely controlled by an external construct is no more. And now it's just a matter of people understanding that. And unless they choose to understand it, they will be subjected to that control forever, for the rest of their lives.
My opinion, then mind control's almost religion. It's like that.
Is. Absolutely. It's the first.
So everybody that's very religious is under serious mind control. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just looking at some of the religious, thinking about all the religious busters I get, like the Bible busters. No offense, guys. I was one of them. Okay. So, and then you see that. And so maybe that was my mind control. But once you break out of it and you do realize that it's completely like, I think it's so, just if you think about it, nobody knows the freaking real truth. Nobody. If you knew, I mean, if it was known, there wouldn't be all these religions. There wouldn't be all this, wouldn't be all this chaos.
Once you know, you're not supposed to talk about it.
Well, guess what? That's how that's what Hindus do say. They don't talk about
That's
it.
why they do this. That's why you see all this shit, all that stuff, because once you know, if you talk, they kill you. And it's like,
I'm talking about it because guess what? There's no hell. Like, I don't believe we're going
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, and like I think people need to know that because it's scary when you think you're going to hell. Because I used to think I was going to hell on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So now this is when I was the most religious I ever was. So now that I'm my own Heidiism, yeah, that's right, Heidiism. So if I get some trolls here, it's true, and I'm my own religion. Why not? Why am I going to worship somebody else? Like they could guide me the wrong way. Because when you look at all these people's charts, you should not be following them, any of them.
Right.
And that's my proof right there.
But no, you're right. Religion is the original fear-based mind control. And so, the only thing was that the intelligence agencies, along with some really negative ETs and their technology, decided to take normal, human psychology and program us from as early as they could with that fear-based mind control. And unfortunately, they figured out that the most trauma that a child can endure was sodomy. And so that's why we see a generational and systematic cycle of child abuse, child sexual abuse in these families, and it starts with sodomy. You have to sodomize the child and we've talked about this before briefly because it's just so terrible. But it's something about the connectivity with the nerves from the base of the spine to the base of the brain, and it fragments a child completely. And from then on, they're so easy to control. They're yours to control once you break that part of them. And so, and that's why I think so many of these killers are targeted. Their families are targeted. And they're like, okay, so, and we've talked about this before, and this is really wild. But in the same way that the intelligence agencies have spent a lot of time and energy and money into mapping out and scanning the country for certain individuals that incarnate with a level of soul memories and abilities. They want to find these people. And they want to influence them as early as they can and as heavily as they can for any agenda that they choose. That goes for their idea of superheroes, that they can program the public to think, okay, this is our person. We're going to put this person in the limelight and everyone's going to worship them as a hero. They endured the same, maybe not exactly the same, but similar programming as to the person that they targeted and took and abused and made them a killer. I hope everybody follows what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And yeah, it's just cracking me up because you're like, I hope everybody listening can hear us.
Well, I mean, I just
like we're talking to everybody. No, but I'm reading these comments and everybody is saying that. Like everybody's agreeing and everybody's saying good things. We have all nice people. Good.
Well, because they can trace people. They know based on the family, the lineage, they can somehow detect when and where these souls are going to come in, and then they jump on them.
Wait, why did you just delete Brad? Z Golden Report. I'm gonna have to take you not being a moderator. You keep deleting people for like random reasons. So don't delete people unless they say you are stupid, girls. Okay, that's the only way. If somebody says you girls are dumb, then it can be deleted. Other than that, it can't. Unless they call me like, an effing bitch or something. Then yeah, you can delete them. But we can't get mad at people's comments. All right.
Well, right.
Then I
Like,
have to go find these people, and now I got to go undelete them. You just give me another 10 minutes of work when I don't have 10 minutes. Okay. So there are 2 readings that we can do. Jenny, can you do 2 with me?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. So this is somebody that donated a significant amount last time that I forgot. And then she sent me an email. And remembered. And I said I would do her chart. And then I'm going to do the one that just donated here in the live chat. So I already have the birthdays in here. The first one is 7. This is the person from last week, 7/12. And if you guys donate, if we don't get the charts, I mean, if I have like a $20 donation here, we'll definitely do you. I just can't say like if it's going to be done that day. Okay. Just, you have to write on the video you did not do it, because I can't keep track of these things. It's too hard. So the person that's 7/12/1967, which is July 12th, 1967. It's a female, Jenny.
Okay.
Whoa. Well, that's obviously a sign. Just drop this fucking shitstorm in the car. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sorry. I'm a little non-filtered today. Okay, so, and just so everybody knows too, after this, I'm doing a show with Trisha. We're going to do some more charts with numerology. Like, we're doing this paralyzed guy too, that was the Olympic guy. So we're going to do a show after. So this person, Venus Moon conjunct in the first house. So this person is a Leo ascendant with Venus and Moon conjunct in her first house. So this person, I guarantee you, is very attractive, very magnetic, very creative. I want to say, wants to be an actress at some point of your life. You want to be. You need to be in the public. You need to be using your creative self-expression, as well as you do have a rebellious side to you. And when your Moon and Venus are conjunct, you're a little too romantic, like, meaning you're going to be looking for that. You're going to want that. And you have some other things in your chart that can kind of make that you get those high hopes get shattered. When somebody has that Venus Moon conjunct, it's great. They can schmooze anybody. They're very charismatic. They are always, and your Moon is in your first house. So you're very emotional. Like, if you're emotionally like using that creative self-expression all the time. And you can get really too wrapped up in your emotions with romance. So, and your love, love and all that would be like, my Venus is debilitated in Virgo. Okay. So what does that mean? That means I will never have the same thoughts that you have. Like, because I'm more about that practical Venus-y. You're all about the Venus being, and that's more, it's just also music. It's making people look pretty. You could be a makeup artist. You could help women. It doesn't always have to go to the, romance sector. It can just be somebody that, just wants to beautify things. Yeah, it makes things look better. Yeah, Venus is also music. It could be a musician. It could be somebody but you have in your third house, K2 conjunct Mars. Mm-hmm. This is a rare conjunction. I have K2 conjunct Mars in my first house. You have it in your third. So I would say you have issues with siblings. If you don't have any siblings, then you're very competitive, big time. You're probably good with your hands. You are a natural somebody that needs to be doing this type of, YouTube, writing books, politics, I don't know, speaking, using your communication. You're a good salesperson. And you could be a salesperson that sells medical device sales, or plastic surgeon stuff, that type of salesperson. What else?
So I'm going to do, because I really liked the way this went last time, I'm going to do a 3-card spread for you guys. And what I really has been working great is the micro, the macro, and the guidance card, or the oracle card, whatever you prefer. And the micro card is here to indicate the internal concepts, what's going on with you internally. And so this is very much like your personal sphere. And then the macro is that which is out of your control, the external constructs, in contrast with the internal. And so these are the things that are going on around you that have influence on the people around you and the circumstances. But they're not actually things that you can change. These are things that are outside of your control. And then the guidance card is there to provide us with a practical solution, something that you can do, or a mentality that you can adopt to best facilitate the outcome, a beneficial outcome for yourself, and just to make life easier for you. So
this person also is a humanitarian. Jupiter in the 12th, you know, wants to help and serve. You're too nice sometimes, I would say. It's a good thing to be too nice. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but you might get hurt a lot, and you might get your.
So, I think that this person is undergoing some really amazing changes, either in the professional sphere, or maybe material. And either way, it's either career, the work, career, profession, and or the houses, the cars, apartments, monetary things. Okay, very earth-based matters, material matters. Also health. Okay, because the human body is ruled by, the domain is of the earth. The discs card is very big here. So internally for you, we have a really wonderful card. It's the Ace of Discs. Now, this is just an ideal card to come up for anybody, pretty much in any context, because this is all about gaining higher ground and finally being able to step down on something solid, whereas perhaps in the past things were not very solid. So if we're talking about a career move or buying a house or something like that, this is about, and internally speaking, this is about a confidence. This is about having a level of where you're just so sure that things are good, so focused and so positive that things are going to get better. Okay, so also health-wise, this is like if you've been sick, if you've been dealing with some kind of an ailment. It
could have been health, Jenny, from the transits.
Okay, this is about getting better. Okay, internally, this is about healing. This is about getting better. This is about getting stronger. I mean, we're talking about bones. I'm kind of being brought to bones right now because it's, the bones is the calcium and the trace elements in the bones. There's also those elements in the earth, and that's what connects us. So internally, I think this person is becoming physically strong, maybe for the first time in a long time. And then the second card we have here to indicate the external concepts, the things that are out of your control, is the 10 of Discs. Now, this is Mercury and Venus. Okay, now Mercury being the communicator, the messages, the speaker, the storyteller. And then that being in Venus, this is about that attraction, that sensitivity, those instincts for being able to communicate with people and make attachments with people, and not necessarily a romantic way, but a very convincing, relatable way. So this is about networking. This could be that you're gaining a really good relationship with people that have power, with people that have resources, with people that have, whether that's physical resources or really smart people like doctors and healers and things like that.
Healers, and it could be Jupiter, like gurus and people like that too. Rahu's on her Jupiter. But point is, I would say you still have to watch out for things behind the scenes a little bit.
Well, right, because the last card here is the Art card, also known as the Temperance card. And here for this, I think that this is about taking everything that you have learned about the nature of people and not forgetting that. And even though things are looking good and things are on the rise and there's healing taking place and moving up, it's kind of like, okay, don't forget where you come from. Don't forget what you've learned, all the times that all of those hardships that you've experienced. This is the time to really sort of utilize this type of retrospection so that you can properly make a decision moving forward. So this is like utilizing your entire past, all your mistakes, all your victories, and making a proper decision. This could also be about not ignoring not ignoring patterns, seeing patterns for what they are, and finally like heeding the warning is maybe it's taken 10 warnings for you to figure out that there needs to be a lifestyle change. There needs to be some kind of a change, and it's taken you forever, but it's like you're finally ready to apply what you've learned. Practical applications, folks. This is all it's about. Tarot is not the way I read tarot, the way I do my readings. It's not just about, I had a dream 3 nights ago that I was an Atlantean, I don't know, prince, and I want to know how powerful I am and tell me how powerful I am. And it's like, listen, we're all powerful. And while, entertaining dreams and fantasies and visions is very fun, it doesn't really have all that much of a practical application. We're trying to do better. We're trying to be better wives and husbands and brothers and sisters and members of society, and that's what I try to help people with, is create practical solutions in the tarot, and not so much, etheric and, oh, you need to, let your inner princess shine. I mean, do that too, but.
Yeah. And the card I got for you shows that you're limiting your own view of things. So you're kind of boxing yourself in, and you are one of your own worst enemies, and you need to think outside of the box and don't have so much fear. Yeah. Okay. So that's our advice. Next I think it's a female as well. And yeah, so this was this the chart I pulled? Yeah, this was the person that donated in the beginning. Okay, so 10/18/89. I don't remember the name. It was a female.
Same age as me.
The what?
Same age as me, 89.
And her moon is in Mrigashira, but her Jupiter is in Ardra, but this is in her first house. So person has a lot of Gemini in your chart. So you probably were the type of person that would, well, maybe you thought you felt a little Libra or Scorpio or whatever you thought you were. But point is, your sun is still in Libra. So just so everybody knows, this is Vedic astrology. So your signs are going to change. And this is not everything's going to be different. So when I say you're Gemini ascendant, this person's like, what do you mean I'm a Gemini? I was born in October 18th. Okay. So that's the point. Your ascendant changes every 2 hours. So that's why you need your time. It's the most important part, because it's your life path on this life. And somebody said in a different show I watched that it's kind of like your hidden side. It is a way your hidden side, your mask, but it's still the part you're playing. It's the role you're playing this life. So it is a huge, especially when you have planets there, it's definitely the most important house. It's your health too. So Gemini ascendant, Jupiter and moon in the first house. So this person is like chatty Cathy, very emotional, always searching for things to entertain her, always searching for things but she's a leader. Like, you're a leader and you're an entrepreneur. And I'm sure you're like somebody that people tell you stuff, people look up to you. You could be a manager in like the IT department. I don't know why I said that, but point is, you're definitely somebody that is in a leadership role, because Jupiter in the first house. But you also could be like a counselor, because when you have that Jupiter moon, that's emotions, women, helping people, that healing emotions. Jupiter is healing. So you're a healer, and your moon's in Ardra, or your moon is in Mrigashira, though. You're always searching. So there's a lot of unsettled, whatever kind of word that means, unsettling feeling that you're always looking for something. Like, what's next? What's next? Is this right or is that right? Is this right or is that right? Or you're always looking for something to get yourself into. It could be just, something to focus on, something to follow, believe, whatever. But it's definitely creative. So, I mean, you probably have a ton of inventions. Oh, and here's the thing. You have a ton of inventions. I've been getting a lot of these Virgos lately. But you have Mars and Mercury conjunct in Virgo. So you have all these inventions, but this Virgo is a perfectionist. So you want to perfect things. And with all those inventions and you want to perfect things, you'll never get anything done. And this is also somebody that's like a master engineer, somebody that has Mars and Mercury. It's like that logic, that engineer mind, that engineer with knowing how to fix things and knowing how to build things. Like, you could be an architect in the engineer IT field. So you have a lot of Gemini in your chart. Mercury, you're very mercurial to say. So building things, designing, and it doesn't always have to be, websites. It could be shoes, I don't know. Just saying, like it could be something, designing something that you probably have a lot of interest, to say the least. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, you talk, and then I'll say some final remarks on the chart.
Okay. So she's actually in the chat right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to let you know, if you just tuned in, I'm going to do a 3-card spread for the micro, the macro, and the guidance. So internal, external, and oracle. Just a sec. I know when it's ready, not a moment before, not a moment after. Wow. Okay. So you're dominated by trump cards right now, also known as major arcana, which indicates that what you're currently experiencing is very much karmic. Okay. It's very thematic and very much meant to happen. And it's probably it's probably something that you've experienced time and time again through cycles. Okay. So you're probably at a peak of some kind of a cycle that has just kind of gone over and over and over again throughout your lifetime. Internally, we're talking about the eon. And the eon is about, for you right now, I feel like this is about critical self-analysis.
What's her name?
I think she said it was
sorry,
Angelina or Alice.
Oh, Alice. I think I remember.
Well, her screen name here is Alice.
Okay, got it.
But in any case, sometimes the eon is about being brutally honest with yourself, brutally honest about the situation, perhaps at a time when it's like you might have been lying to yourself about a long-standing situation. So say, for example, now this isn't you, but for example, somebody who's been in a terrible marriage and they have made excuses for that person and they refuse to see the light. And then they literally wake up one day and they're like, you know what? I see it all very clearly and the decision needs to be made. That's just an example. So internally for you, I'm suggesting that what you are experiencing is a moment of clarity where the reality of your situation is very clear to you, and some kind of a decision that has been needing to become to, you're finally there right now. And then externally speaking, we have the star, okay? And we have the star and then the sun. The sun is the oracle card. So the star, when we're talking about an external concept, this is, I wonder what you have going on right now.
A big change. A
Yeah.
Rahu Ketu return in the 8th house.
It's pretty miraculous, actually. I almost feel like it kind of evokes the feeling, the image of a slingshot, where someone's pulled back really, really far and like really low and deep, and then they slingshot. What is that? I can't see.
Hostility. I'm seeing some fights. Maybe you're going to win a battle.
Well, yeah, it does actually. It could be, because the eon and the star together, this could be a volatile situation that is finally you can't escape addressing it any further. Like, you can't waste any more time running circles around it. It is something that absolutely needs to be addressed. And if we are talking about hostility, the star actually does come up sometimes to indicate unpredictable people and unpredictable situations, and also unexpected events, things that just happen and they're kind of crazy, unexplainable, supernatural phenomenon. You might actually be experiencing like really weird things happening around you, because the nature of this decision is pretty it's like a fulcrum right now. This is something's going on here that is probably going to affect the rest of your life, what you do now, because it's been a long time coming. And the sun as a guidance card, I mean, the sun is one of those cards that endless meanings. There's so many meanings to this card. It's a beginning, it's an end, it's clarity, it's that energy of things being disinfected. Sometimes it's death, sometimes it's birth, sometimes it's alliances, sometimes it's things falling apart. And for you, I feel intuitively that what you need to hear right now is to be absolutely open to all manners, all different kinds of outcomes. You need to be open and willing to go with the flow of things and really expand your mind. But the most important thing is that you are honest with yourself. And if you have been kind of hiding from a situation or making excuses for a situation or stuck in some kind of a cycle, you need to be open and ready for the complete unknown. The unknown may be what you're fearful of. Okay. And we're all fearful of it. When you're stuck in a cycle, you don't know what's on the other side, you're scared to jump. But this is an encouragement to have faith in miracles. The star is a card of miracles also.
I have a feeling it has to do with money too, in a way. And I'm just the card this hostile. I'm the one that always pulls the reverse negative cards, but luckily these oracle cards work really well when they're reversed. And this means it's the end of hostilities for you. There's a shift in energies around you or even about you. Universe is supporting your own internal shift as well, whether the aggressive action has ended due to the external factors of your own intervention. This card bodies well for you more peace and harmony. Be aware that however, there may still be some action you have to take. It may seem on the surface that things are slow and getting better. This card encourages you, letting you know that the inner vibrations are changing and the situation will be resolved. It could be addictions, it could be relationships, it could be the second, eighth house. You have Rahu and Ketu exact on the second and eighth house. Couldn't be any more of an extreme nodal return in the second house, eighth house. Second house is money. It's also throat, speech.
Well, there's an end to a cycle here. Yeah, throat, speech. This could be about speaking up, speaking out. It could be that you've been silent for a very long time and it's been an internal struggle. You make excuses, you find reasons, justifications, and it's like internally, it's this moment, this period of time where it's judgment. Okay, this is a card of judgment. This is a card of finally taking some kind of a stand. And you may actually be dealing with some difficult people. Like I said, the star sometimes indicates people that are unpredictable and have undiagnosed or diagnosed mental disorders. It's a card of obsession, borderline personality.
Oh, let's talk about obsessions. Mrigashira, you have 2 planets in Mrigashira. Mrigashira can have the tendencies to stalk or be stalked. So keep in mind, you could be being stalked right now, or there could be a stalking situation. That's just, it's not funny, but it's funny because I have a stalker apparently. So.
You do?
You need to have a positive outlook. That's my last advice.
Yeah. Well, that's the sun too, it's like, go with the flow. Don't resist, be open. See, when you become fixated on one outcome, you're going to be disappointed regardless. Okay. Regardless of what happens, if it's not exactly how you pictured it, you're going to be sad. You're going to be disappointed. This is an encouragement to let life happen. You're young. 1989. What are you kidding me? You're my age. We think that we have all these plans and ideas about how our lives are supposed to go, but ask yourself if it's ever worked out like that. It doesn't. Just go, just go with the flow. Do use your integrity, speak up, and don't make excuses for yourself. Don't make excuses for anybody else.
Speaking of, I'm going to have to say one last thing because you brought up a really good point. You said you're only that age. So I looked at her Saturn, and you're having your Saturn return for the next 2 years.
Like me.
Yeah. Just follow Jenny's, just watch Jenny on her daily posts.
Yeah. Just keep an eye on me. You'll see what happens with the Saturn return.
But this for you is more relationships because it's in your 7th house. Relationships, partnerships, everybody that's not you. So in a way, the public, now when your Saturn return is that when you're having this, you could meet somebody that you get married to. You could end in marriage. You could, things could shift big time in a marriage. So with the cards I was seeing, looks like there is definitely something going on in your life, and there's something that's changing. But I would say for you, the next 2 years, things are changing, but you just make sure your Saturn returns are never easy. Just, I have to say that. So I don't want to sit here and pretend like everything's turning for like the best, because the realistic side of me is going to tell you that Saturn returns aren't easy. They suck. And you're going to feel like the next 2 years, you're going to want to be there. It's a drain. It's very draining. It doesn't mean it's smooth sailing. Your Saturn's strong, luckily. It has a lot of points. So, you can have personal breakthroughs. And during a Saturn return, look, that's when I left my husband. That's when I did, that's when I became a new person, found astrology. But was it fun and easy? Absolutely not. It was the worst 2 years of my life. It really was. I was a mess. So that's what I said.
It's survivable though, and everybody has to go through it. I mean,
yeah.
Heidi, I know that, and Heidi and I talk at great length about all kinds of things, but she's told me that there was a time in her life when she never would have saw this, never would have imagined that she would be doing, studying and practicing Vedic astrology practically, and helping people. And it's like, it's unfathomable, the places that you can go if you just kind of embrace the pain, embrace the suck, don't resist it, lean into it. I know about pain, folks. I know that feeling where the fear of the unknown, you're lost in the weeds. If you resist the pain, it will hurt more. Lean into it. Let yourself be overcome by the struggle. Let yourself fall. You will survive it. You can. We're resilient. I don't know if we have. I don't know.
Worry a lot. Like, try not to worry so much and give yourself anxiety.
Right. It's the enemy, like, just, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You have to just go with it. There was one thing I wanted to mention really quick, because it was one of my initial points here. Totally not about readings. We're going back to the Saudi prince. But the Daily Mail published an article saying American mercenaries are torturing arrested Saudi princes. Here's the thing. Mohammed bin Salman, I don't know if it's Salam or Salman. I'm so sorry.
Like he's watching. I hope he is.
Yeah, I know you do. But I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names. And it's not that it's a foreign name. I literally, I don't even know your name, Heidi. No, I'm just kidding. But in any case.
It's Mohammed bin what?
Bin either Salman or Salam.
Salam. I bet it's Salam.
Okay. But in any case, the mainstream media outlets are trying to smear him currently, and they're saying that among some of the people that he had arrested, they're currently being tortured by American mercenaries. And they're saying if an American citizen commits torture anywhere in the world, they face prison time up to this many years. They're trying to say that Blackwater, they're Blackwater mercenaries. Blackwater is a child of the deep state. Okay. Blackwater does not have agents torturing these detainees. I promise you that, because Blackwater is deep state. And what's happening right now in Saudi Arabia is the last thing that the deep state wants. My theory is that the people that are torturing these detainees, and when we define the term torturing, what they're really trying to do, I believe, is gain intel, dole out punishment to corruption. These men most likely deserve getting slapped around a little bit. They have more wealth than we could fathom, and they've done horrible things with it. I don't feel sorry for them. They're getting slapped around, and, I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for them. You know what I mean? I really don't. But I imagine that the people that are over there, Americans or not, that are trying to gain intel from these people and treat them the way they deserve to be treated, they're not Blackwater. They're probably resistance fighters that have been contracted by the positive military to go in, to be the muscle, to be the brawn, to carry out these arrests and to help and to kind of coordinate with the American positive military, with the Saudis that are finally starting to see the light with this new management in town. And I don't feel sorry for the wealthiest people in the world getting slapped around, and maybe their horrible debts, you know, the horrible things they've done, finally catching up to them. No sympathy from me, none.
So Alice is in here, and I'm going to say that I have to tell her this, because that is your hurdle, is the fear. She said she's not a leader, and you are a leader. That is the thing. You're a leader, and you're supposed to be leading, and you will. I promise you, if at 20, at your age, if somebody would have said to me during my Saturn return, oh, Heidi, you're going to be on YouTube reading charts, okay? Seriously, reading charts, doing this. You're going to like foreign men, okay? You're going to be divorced right before my son. I would have thought you were absolutely absurd, absolutely insane, on serious drugs, and would not have believed it. So your life is completely going to change, okay? And you're going to learn a lot about yourself, and it's going to be through others. You have fear of not impressing others, and you have fear of speaking because you have K2 in the second. It makes you shy. But you are a phenomenal speaker, and you will be speaking, and you will be doing something huge one day. I promise you that. You will. So, had to say it.
That's good. That's really nice.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, Heidi, coming up here.
Yep, and to get a hold of Jenny, her website is right here in the comments, jennymoonstone.com, to get a reading from Jenny. So I should have said that at the beginning.
It's quite all right. Everybody
knows every one of the shows.
Wait. Yeah. Also, we're going to be attending a seminar in Clearwater, Florida on December 10th. Heidi and I
we're going to be part of the seminar.
Right. Yeah. Attending, right. We're going to be part of the seminar. Heidi and I will both be presenting and speaking on our respective subject matters. And so I have quite a bit of work to do. I don't want to make a complete fool of myself. Yeah. Something that's, concise and to the point. And so it's a really wonderful opportunity. It will be live streamed, if I understand correctly. So a huge thank you to Jeff for all he's doing to make this happen, and his subscribers and his base. He's really shown up, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's going to be on Coast to Coast next week. So I'm sure that's going to definitely bring a lot more attraction to the seminar. So if you do want tickets, I know right now the tickets they're at a phenomenal price, but I can tell you that if he does, I'm sure he'll raise them. I mean, I would if I was him. If it gets too, if the room gets too booked, or he has to move it, who knows, with this Coast to Coast thing that just popped up again. So, I mean, it's 2 hours with George. So that's pretty, if you are interested, book the tickets, and it's, you just go to his channel, The Christian Whistleblower, and you can book tickets from there. You can go to his site. I just bought rods today.
Yay.
Yep.
I will refrain from buying rods because I can just see myself in the room by myself, asking a million questions. My husband walks in like, what are you doing? Oh, nothing.
I'm not going to lie. I have an app on my phone. I can't even believe I'm admitting this. The Magic 8 Ball. The Magic 8 Ball app. That you just shake your phone and it says yes, you ask it a question. So yeah, I think the rods are going to be a lot better.
That's like AI divination right there. Like, don't trust the machine. No, I mean, rods still, we're talking about a type of result that is based on some kind of a science, whether it's loosely based or a lot based. There is something to it. Tarot cards, it's kind of the same sort of thing there. But these, anything within the phones, the artificial intelligence, it's not capable of divination. Okay, because that's a human thing. The human element is very integral with that. All right, folks. So I hope everybody enjoys their weekend and all of the leftovers. And Heidi, thank you so much for having me on. I hope that you get a shout out from the new Prince of Saudi Arabia. And I hope I am invited to your wedding.
He's very married. Yes. So don't forget, I'm going to be live.
No, he is married, but I mean, he probably has.
Don't they have a few wives?
Yeah, yeah, they do.
No, I wouldn't put up with that. I would not put up with that. Let's just confirm. All right. So here's the deal. In 20 minutes, I'm going to be live with Trisha. So we're going to do some charts, live reading.
You do my number?
Like, yeah, we do it. Yeah, for sure.
I want to know. I think it's.
Let me write it. Give me your birthday, full March.
March 15th, 1989. Do you want my time?
No, we don't need that. Not for numerology.
Okay, I'm going to watch. I'm so excited. You and Trisha are awesome. You guys stay tuned. They're two badass broads doing badass things. All right, everybody. Mwah. Right. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a lie. Bye.